Boom. What is this delectable looking piece of, focus? Meat in my hands? It is none other than nature's multivitamin, also known as stinky beef liver. It is something that probably the most micronutrient dense food item you could have per gram, but unfortunately tastes like ass. A lot of people don't like the taste of it, understandably so, because it doesn't taste that good. I have a stomach it every day though. I have an ounce a day for good reason, because it is nature's multivitamin. It's one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet and is extremely good for you, to the point that some people actually really notice significant outcomes from a vitality enhancement, biomarkers, even physical performance. Like, it does a lot of things, and I'll get into that in a sec why. But the main thing to know is this is the biggest bang for your buck food you could be adding in, essentially, that most people are not eating. And despite the fact that I've been eating it for years and recommending it for years, I still can't get a lot of people on the bandwagon in my own family, because it tastes not great. It smells not great. It is something they refuse to eat. So that is where supplements come into play, such as Gorilla Mind's new beef liver capsules. These are as high quality as you can get in capsule format, grass-fed, hormone-free, pasture-raised, freeze-dried to retain the density of micronutrients. And a lot of people simply are not going to eat this. If you can eat this, I highly recommend you do. But if you're traveling and it's a nuisance, or you just hate the taste of it, this is the next best option. Fortunately, because it's so micronutrient dense, you can actually fit an ounce of this stuff in approximately 6 capsules. So 6 capsules of this roughly equates to 1 ounce of eating this gross stuff. So why do I have it? Primarily for, like I said, the micronutrient density. It's not going to be something you're getting a ton of protein from for muscle building necessarily, but for actual health processes and supporting recovery and downstream, supporting muscle growth, neurological health, liver function, an array of different things. This is one of the most bang for your buck things you could be adding to your diet, almost certainly. It's very dense in vitamin A, copper, zinc, bioavailable B vitamins like B12. In addition, choline goes heavily overlooked. And I think a lot of people are severely underdoing their choline intake without even realizing it. Like, the adequate intake that has been established by the Food and Nutrition Board of the National Institute of Medicine is 550 milligrams for men per day and 425 for women. But we have seen how many people are like folate compromised or otherwise deficient in choline and have significant, impairments in methylation through genetic polymorphisms. Like, there's tons of things that could go into you needing either more than the adequate intake, or simply even the average person probably needs more than the adequate intake without these genetic impairments or other deficiencies that complement it. So, there's certain literature that could even be pointed to where it found that certain individuals that were in a folate compromised state needed over 2 grams of choline per day, which is like, essentially 4x what you would be getting if you were just following the standard guidelines. So here you can see in this study, these data suggest that choline intake exceeding current dietary recommendations preserves markers of cellular methylation and attenuates DNA damage in a genetic subgroup of folate-compromised men. And this was a study going up to 2,200 milligrams per day to achieve this outcome, as opposed to other dosages established. So I don't think there's enough studies on choline personally. I think it's a severely lacking area of research, considering how important it is for brain health, among other things. So I would shoot for at least, a gram a day, even if you're not considerate of your genetic, certain predispositions, which I do recommend you would also look into. But a big chunk of that, a lot of people are trying to get through, eggs, which is pretty good. But other than that, a lot of people have no idea where to get choline from or where the most choline dense sources are. This is a nice little chart that shows the milligrams of choline per 100 grams of food. And in this, surprisingly, raw egg is not at the top of the totem pole. In fact, it is significantly more so dense in beef liver. It is actually the king of the crop when it comes to, is that even a saying? King of the crop? King of the hill? I don't fucking know. It is the best of all available foods, essentially, when it comes to choline density. So if you don't want to be leaning to, choline salts and actual supplementation through, things like alpha GPC, which there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but a lot of people want to keep it in like whole food format. Having beef liver an ounce per day, you are hitting so many baseline needs in your diet that probably are not up to snuff. You know, frankly, a lot of people are deficient in at least one or multiple I almost said multivitamins, minerals and vitamins, and could benefit from something like nature's multivitamin, like beef liver. And that is where something like this becomes key for a lot of individuals who simply will refuse to eat it otherwise. So I'm stoked that we have this part of the product lineup now. It's gonna be available starting on Black Friday, and check it out if you guys are interested, and talk to you guys soon.